Hey there, Bio, Mrs. Cozen, with my ugly dog Gus here to help me record some notes for you. Gus, would you like to say hi? Okay. All right. He's just having a little nap in my lap there. Short one here, you guys. I'm going to teach you how to do one more type of Punnett square. This is called incomplete dominance. Now, incomplete dominance is exactly what it sounds like. It's not completely dominant. The one that I taught you before, complete dominance, is where you have an uppercase and a lowercase, and the uppercase always wins. Okay, and so you only show two different phenotypes. You either had like the black or the white, or you had like red and white flowers in one of your practices. Okay, this one we actually get three phenotypes. Okay, it's when your two traits kind of mix together. Incompletely dominant means neither one really wants to be dominant. Okay, but neither one is recessive either. So you get, they're kind of like, they mix together like paint colors, if that helps you to remember, okay? An example would be like in flowers, in several pink flowers that we know of, you'll see a red form, a white form, and then when you get one of each, or the heterozygous, you get a pink flower, okay? Here's an example, you guys, my little pig comic here, okay? It says, this is my mom and dad, and then you can see there's like the darker red pig and the white pig, and they end up with a pink pig. Example here, you guys. What if short and tall, let's say a different plant other than pea plants? What if it wasn't completely dominant? Okay, what if they both were just sort of dominant and they mixed together? What would you end up with? You would end up with something in the middle. Okay, you would end up with some kind of height right in the middle. Okay, here are a few examples. And I put these three up here so you guys could see that they're all represented with different symbols, but they mean the same thing. Okay. In each one of these, we have a red flower and a white flower, and the heterozygous makes a pink flower. Okay. So red isn't dominant, white isn't dominant. You end up seeing both mixed together in the offspring. Okay. This one's also red and white. This one's also red and white. But I just wanted to show you guys that for each one, the symbols are different. Okay. In this first one, they're trying to show an upper and a lowercase. It just means that each symbol means something different. And when you mix them together, you get a different trait here. I'm not going to use this, you guys. I'm going to use these things that look like primes right here. I like to think incomplete dominance, since neither one is really dominant, and they both sort of win out. I like to represent them both with uppercases. That helps me to remember. I don't like to use this one with the lower cases. Okay, that to me means red is dominant and it should always win. And so I don't like to use this one, but I'm just showing you guys that in all three of these, it's just symbols, different symbols being used, but they all mean the same thing. I like to use one uppercase to signify one color, and then an uppercase with, it looks like a number one, we call it a prime, okay? It looks like if you had like 10 to the second, like that equals 100 in exponent. I use an R with a 1 to represent the other color. So that way I'm still using the same letters. Like I've always taught you guys, the same letters mean the same trait. It's just this letter is a little bit different, so it signifies another form of that trait. And then when we get one of each, we get those colors mixed together, we get the pink. Now this one, I warned a lot of you guys about using different letters. This is kind of why I didn't want you to use different letters in the complete dominance, because you can use different letters in this one, okay? As long as you remember that it's all about flower color here. Just because we have a different letter doesn't mean we're talking something different from flower color, okay? This one shows R representing red and W representing white, but they're both capital because remember, they're both truly they're both dominant, okay? And then when you get an R and a W, you get the heterozygous, or the new color. I do not care which one of these you guys use, as long as you understand that in the heterozygous, you make a new phenotype. You mix them together to make a new phenotype, okay? All right, and here's some more examples, okay? Two alleles, so it would be like R and R1. If you guys can see, we've got like a curly hair trait and a straight hair trait, and when we mix them together, the heterozygous would be wavy hair, okay? Black cat, white cat, the heterozygous may be a gray cat. Red and white, heterozygous would be a pink, okay? So instead of one being dominant and one being recessive, and those are the only two we see, when we mix them together, we get one new phenotype. All right, horses are another one. There's actually two forms that horse color will display this incomplete genotype in a third phenotype, okay? So you have like a chestnut colored horse and then a white horse, and when you mix them together, you get what's called palomino, where they have sort of a medium shade in between the two, but then they end up with kind of a white tail. And then if you guys have ever seen what's called a bay horse, you may have, for any of my horse people out there, okay? And then a buckskin is where you can see they have some of the characteristics with the black tail, but the color of their coat is really halfway in between each. Okay, this is another one where you've got the darker form, the really white form, and then when you put one of each together, you get that heterozygous in the middle. All right, so here's my example. Again, I told you guys I was going to use those primes. So I have uppercase R stands for red. Let's do red and white and pink flowers. R with a 1 stands for white, and then when you have one of each, you get a pink flower. Okay, so here's my first parent. This parent is pink. Okay, this parent has a red and a white gene, so this parent's actual physical characteristics, their phenotype would be pink. Okay, their genotype is heterozygous. All right, other parents also pink. Woohoo! This parent has a red gene and a white gene, and they mix together to make a pink phenotype. And now the babies, okay? Out of this cross of 2 pink flowers, we would end up with 1 red flower, 25%, 1 white flower, 25%, and 50% pink flowers. Okay, so you guys can see that over here in your percentages, okay? Just ours, homozygous red. So notice, you guys, it doesn't say homozygous dominant or homozygous recessive because there's no recessives and everything is dominant here. Okay, we've got homozygous red and homozygous white, and then heterozygous is one of each. And heterozygous is pink. So can you guys add pink next to this one where it says heterozygous? Can you add pink? And then in the phenotypes, what's different about these phenotypes here, guys? We have 3 phenotypes, okay? Instead of just dominant and recessive, okay, we have 3. We have the red homozygous, we have the white homozygous, and the pink heterozygous, okay? Yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear my baby's singing himself to sleep in the next room. It's really loud to me. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but he is. All right, here's your summary, video 3. How is incomplete different from complete, okay? Maybe talk about phenotypes, maybe talk about how things are expressed. And here's your Punnett square. Okay, write down the whole question. Homozygous red butterfly, heterozygous purple. So you guys have to decide that purple is a mixture of what? Red and something else. Okay, so write down the questions. Write down answers for this one. Write down the question. I want to see a Punnett square, and I want to see genotype and phenotype percentages. Okay. And my friends, that is the end of video 3. You have just learned incomplete dominance. My dog would like to say goodnight. Say goodnight, Gus. Good night, Gus. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.